Now, I feel like there is a huge misconception on my channel by my viewers and the people that don't watch me because they dislike me, that I am like the critic from Ratatouille. Not only could this not be farther from the truth, but I'm going to explain just how so. I go to see any and every movie that's released in theaters or on VOD, desperate to give it props. But the bottom line is, people, every single thing I have seen this year does not feel like a product coming from anyone's heart nor soul. It feels like a bunch of people knowing that they are going to get the biggest payday they have ever heard of, and in return, they are willing to push whatever agenda that is thrown on their desk. And it's frankly offensive. So in this movie, I'm going to expose just how little I am asking for by revisiting one of the most celebrated trilogies of all time, Back to the Future. Now, the first movie is an undeniable masterpiece. Not in the same sense as a Citizen Kane, of course, but the script is not only simple enough that even a very young child could follow it and never be lost or confused, more importantly than that, it was just simply captivating. And that's because the film reeks of love. Through every frame, second to second, start to end, there is not a moment in the movie or trilogy where you felt as though someone on screen or behind the scenes was just dredging along the filmmaking process because they were more focused on netting the biggest return of their career. Despite the fact that that very well could have been the case. Never seems like it. They weren't weighed down by the return they'd net because they loved to make it and get the film's message out. Now, you can sometimes see the underlying scowl and cringing from these actors and actresses because they're being forced to convey and express an agenda that isn't even theirs. Because they sure aren't dumb in any sense, they know their actions have repercussions, and they've got a huge stage. But instead of choosing to star in movies whose themes are simple, and some may claim are redundant and stupid, and I'd argue are heartfelt and necessary, they're choosing to star in films that have disturbing sexual and racial undertones because it pays so much. The only time it feels as though these actors and actresses are truly comfortable in their own skin is when they're off camera, especially the leads. Going back to the movies I love, and the trilogy that's the topic of this video, after 1, 2 was released 3 years after the fact. It was pretty good, but it didn't hold a candle to the first. And 3 was enjoyable at best. Do I still love all 3 all the same? Of course I do. At no point in any 3 movies did it feel like Robert Zemeckis, Michael J. Fox, and especially Christopher Lloyd was phoning in their performance or talents. Now, the very definition of phoning your talents in. The only individual this year and last combined where I have not seen this to be the case is 3 films. Mia Goth and Pearl, Timothy Chalamet in Dune 2, and I don't know the actress's name, but Men was a fantastic movie. All of these instances felt like someone glad and excited to be part of a production they knew would become very popular. Other than that, I've got nothing. Maybe Oppenheimer, but I'd ask anyone who's seen 28 Days Later, did you feel the same amount of love and care from Cillian? Or the same amount of love and care from Christopher Nolan as The Dark Knight? Going for very different things, sure, but passion is usually displayed by filmmakers through their movie's runtime and how blown away you are by the end. Even though I loved Oppenheimer, prior to me watching it, it felt like the selling point was that it was 3 hours long. And we don't even have to talk about Killers of the Flower Moon. Martin, if you are watching this, retire! The only others I could think of is maybe Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling in terms of not phoning it in. But loving and caring for product and audience? I've already spoken on that movie, and I don't even want to think about it again. Point is, by the release of the 3rd Back to the Future movie, everyone had their fill and was thoroughly entertained. Now, it feels like any movie you go to see, regardless of trailers and advertising, you're going to leave disturbed because you felt like you were being lectured by people who aren't even intelligent, especially more than you. Not only lectured, but attempted to be manipulated while spending time with your family and friends? It's just plain gross. And I wonder if it will ever cease. With the release of the American Society of Magical Negroes, and no, I am not joking, that's an actual title to an actual movie that's coming out in less than 2 weeks of recording this, and Love Lies Bleeding, which after viewing the trailer and already having seen Drive-Away Dolls, I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of the movie is just Kristen Stewart's character face-throttling katyo'brian's for nearly 2 hours. It appears the answer to my question is a resounding no.